Morning, Lou.
Morning, Tina. How are you?
I'm really good.
Yeah.
Just been having a conversation with someone who's had one of those life-changing experiences, who was on Stewart Island staying with Estelle Lesk, and got to see a Kiwi up close and personal, and says it was one of those moments that he will treasure for the rest of his life. So it's good to know that people can have those experiences on Rakiura. But I really wanted to talk a bit about you now, because you have led the life of a wandering environmental minstrel for the last, almost a year?
2.25 years.
2.5 years.
I left Department of Conservation.
And I think it's last year you seem to have literally just not been home.
No, I'm doing a lot of storytelling, so stories of conservation are just so invigorating and positive. That I've just got back from a board meeting of the Predator-Free Trust, and I know what people say when you see a Kiwi, it just knocks you for a six, and just knowing that we could potentially make Rakiura predator-free is just such an inspiring challenge. But no, I'm fundraising for conservation and storytelling on conservation and writing stuff on conservation. So
yeah, and I have to say that I've got to share that story that you shared with me, that 3 women paid $10,000 to spend how many nights with you?
2 nights, and they've done it for 3 years in a row. So
you must have been the most valuable man in New Zealand. I don't even think Richie McCaw's had $10,000 for a couple of nights with some Sheilas.
Yeah, that's for the New Zealand Arts Foundation. But I just take them to really special places and cook them up a meal and take them into some magic places that they've never heard of. And
the place that you went this time is a place called Siberia. Is that correct?
I took them into the Upper Wilkin, into a place called Lake Lucidus and Lake Diana and Jumboland, and it was just Bluebird Day, glaciers, ice falls, just tears, magic.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely an interesting place. It's
worth every dollar of 10,000.
Yes, and it was that's for people who don't know. That's up near the Makarora River, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, magnificent valley, Aspiring National Park.
So, in terms of ecotourism, is this a growth thing in the world?
Yeah, well, I'm working for a number of companies, Holland America, Minaret Station, Heritage Expeditions, and they're all pretty much in growth phase. And I think what's happened with New Zealand was with the increased air links between the United States, which has seen a big upswing in particularly Americans who actually want to buy nature. And of course, as the world population heads towards 8 billion, and Europe's heating up, and having done some work in Iceland last year for a photographic tour, it's experiencing exactly the same as people are trying to look at those destinations that are not awfully hot in summer, and just have incredible nature experiences. And places like Stewart Island, I just couldn't believe being there at the weekend with you for the Rakiura Land Trust. You just can't get a bed in the place.
No.
And the Southern Air was saying, we've taken 3,000 this month, our busiest ever month. And
yeah.
she
was packed.
Yeah. I just think natural history and nature is the future of our tourism industry. And, there's a few products that just are outstanding, like Heritage Expeditions, like Minaret, like most of the Kiwi operations on Stewart Island.
Yeah.
That are, Jerry McSweeney in Mariki Lodge in Southwestern said he's never had such a busy summer.
Now, we've just been discussing before you come on here, Lou, and I talked about this. I felt sort of almost grubby being on Ulva Island without having paid. And so you have to pay to get there, but once you get on there, you don't. And there is a growing debate around how much and whether people should pay for access to places like Ulva Island. And I asked pretty much just about anyone I met while I was over there, because I just wanted to sort of get a feel for it. And most people are prepared to pay. They want to pay because they're starting to understand that you can't have these experiences without an enormous amount of capital going into upkeeping them. And so I think the will's there now. What's your take on it?
Well, I introduced differential fees between New Zealanders and international from a model I saw operating very effectively in Chile and Argentina, right down to a regional. You know, it was $60 if you were a New Zealander. If you were from Chile, it was $30. But if you came from Otago or Southland, it was only $5. You know, so they're quite good models. I did quite a lot of work as DG in introducing the visitor levy, which is $35 and 50% to local government and 50% to DOC. I think the visitor levy is the way we should be going, and I don't think people would begrudge $100 or $150 at that end. I think New Zealand national parks are quite leaky, and it's quite hard to put entry fees. I think the ones that would work clearly would be, you know, the Milford Road, the Mount Cook Road.
Yeah.
But you look at Tongariro and Northwest Nelson, even South Westland, there'd be a lot of cost in putting in toll booths and things like that. So I think we've got to look at the international visitor levy. Just seems to be the no-brainer. Yeah,
I agree. And people just didn't have a problem with it. They thought they were getting, even some of the overseas people who were coming were like, you know, it's way too cheap. $35 is just a few coffees, really. On your trip to New Zealand. So, you know, at 100, I think, you know, look, New Zealand delivers a pretty quality product, and full credit to previous governments who have invested in toilets and high-quality tracks and huts. You know, we offer a product that basically doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. Yeah. And now you work with Predator Free. You've just gone on to the board of Predator Free Trust, the national one.
Yeah, so it's working with Jesse Morgan. It's just, you know, providing the tools, providing the inspiration, connecting people. We don't have money. You know, that's the Predator Free 2050 is the one that has an annual budget to invest.
Yeah.
But we're the ones that are really trying to help the Pictons, the Okaritos, the Stewart Island Air Services, who will now run a very successful business based on a series of rat traps that they put around the airfield. So
that's right, they do.
You know, and Picton's trying to go Predator Free, and Okarito, and we try and connect communities with the best ways of doing things.
Yeah, and I must admit, one of my proudest moments that I've left as a legacy for Rakiura was, I know you were involved with conversations with this too, with Roy Thompson, with Mamaku and Rakiura Maori Land, and now the Lord's family, or the Lord family from Millers Beach have also joined that sort of alliance of those landowners, private landowners who are trying valiantly to go predator free. And
you've got to take your hat off to a guy like Roy Thompson, who buys a sanctuary, invests in it, and is trying to fund it through Kiwi Tourism. And then, you know, Rakiura Maori Land Trust has probably spent $2 million over 10 years.